All right, welcome back, everyone. Shane Carter here, Hampshire Capital, again, along with our VP of Investor Relations, Eddie Austin. Eddie, how are you today?
Man, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Today, we're going to be talking about our company's ESG philosophy, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. It's a little bit of a key phrase these days, but we want to dive into what does that mean to us and what are we actually doing. And we'll let the conversation go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I want people to see why we're passionate about it, why this is actually on our website.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it. You know, here at Hampshire Capital Investment, what is that ESG and what does it mean to us?
All right. Well, I'm going to take them one by one, Eddie. So number one, absolutely. You know, the E is environmental, and I guess important to know is my background. I have a background in environmental sciences. That's what I studied in college. I worked as a forester, wildlife biologist, and really have an affinity for nature. That's just who I am as a person. I love being in the outdoors. I love the natural world, and I've served on boards, conserving land locally here in New Hampshire, and so I believe that that's an important part of development as well, is conservation of land. So there's an important environmental aspect in my background. And, I believe that what it means to Hampshire Capital and how we implement in our business plan is, number one, it's energy conservation, right? So we, in all of our renovations, look to employ low flow water fixtures, toilets, faucets, etc. We can really diminish our water consumption. That just helps. Obviously, it helps our bottom line. Let's be honest. It's really a cost saving measure as well. But it truthfully is good for the environment. Where it's appropriate to, we absolutely work with third party providers to analyze whether or not solar is intelligent, whether or not solar panels are a good investment to place on our asset. It's another potential asset enhancement that we can place there. And also EV stations. We are constantly evolving as a society, as a nation. More and more electric cars roll out. And at assets where it's appropriate, we have, again, third-party vendors that we look to work with for EV chargers to place in our assets. Mm-hmm. So that's just a few of the environmental measures that we look at in every single asset.
Perfect. And I feel that's so important for what we do. And because I think, honestly, our tenants like living at properties that the company cares about that. That we're conserving. We're conservative across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, I forgot one other one, important, LED lighting, right? So all of our exterior lighting and interior lighting, whenever possible, we always change that out for LED lighting. Just much more efficient, uses much less energy. Obviously, that's putting less strain on the grid, less greenhouse gas emissions, et cetera.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And what is the next philosophy? It's ESG. So what is the S in that?
So the S is social. And so that's an important social impact. And that's important to us on many levels. So our co-founder and business partner, as you know, Nick Bouquet, he really has a background in LIHTC, low-income housing tax credit properties, which has a very strong mandate in sort of social responsibility, affordable housing, et cetera. And so he really brings that sensitivity to Hampshire Capital as well. And it's a functional part of our business and how we conduct ourselves. We have a very big responsibility. We deal with people's homes. It's a fundamental right and a fundamental need of society. And so we take that responsibility very serious. We're not dealing, yes, we're dealing with our own capital and investors' capital, and that capital needs to make a return. But how we're doing that in terms of our social responsibility at the asset level and at the property level and community level is very, very important to us. And we don't just talk about it, we actually do it. So at one of our assets in Texas, we have an aftercare, a childcare facility, right? An after school program for the kids in the community. And it's free. We don't charge for it at all. The space is given. We have a third-party nonprofit that comes in and runs it. It's free to the residents. It's not open to the outside. It's just for our residents. And that's, that's again, us sort of walking the walk of caring about our communities and our residents and implementing programs like that at the asset level. We also have a video sort of tutorial platform that we're rolling out that is an educational platform for our residents to, understand, financial resiliency and better communication skills and interpersonal relations and just sort of social programs at that level that will really empower them to elevate themselves in some way. And again, we feel like that's an important part of the social platform that we look to move forward on. And then the last one, this is a real, just give a teaser on this. It's just at the genesis stage. We haven't really rolled it out at all, but we're in discussions with a couple of entities that have a program whereby the residents and the tenants can invest in the assets that they own, right? And so there's a component of their rent that they can allocate and apply towards an investiture and a fractionalized ownership in the asset that they own. And we're looking at different programs that are going to allow us as the asset owners to allow them to participate in the equity in the asset that they live in. And that can be really powerful for residents.
Oh man, that is something. Any type of income replacement in some form or fashion, and it's truly passive, is huge. And just the having a place to take your kid, not have to worry about it, man, that is just, it's phenomenal what we do.
Yeah.
And what is the last piece of this?
So the G is governance, and governance is really, how we conduct ourselves. That we're committed to, to recycling in our offices. We're committed to a low paper environment. We're mostly digital anyway in everything that we do. We're conserving our resources, but more importantly too, that look, you're a part of our organization for a reason, right? And the governance part, it speaks to that, which is, how do we treat our employees? What kind of culture do we have? How do we treat each other? Is this an environment of inclusiveness? Are we doing profit sharing? And the answer is yes, we do all of that, right? And so that aspect of our company and our culture at our company is our governance and sort of our guiding principles. High integrity, open communication amongst all of us, clear, easy decision making. That's how we govern ourselves, and that's the important G in the ESG philosophy.
I love it, man. It's right on what we do, and it's so important. And I'm very honored to be in this company, to know that we work for a company that can provide value for other people, not only our investors, our tenants, the community that we buy properties in. It's full circle. It's infinity in a sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, appreciate the opportunity to talk about our ESG philosophy with you today. I think it's important. It's a message we don't get out as much, and I think it's important for people to hear.
It's just something that, we live, eat, and breathe it every day. But I want investors to know that. I want people in the community to know that. I want to know how people understand clearly what we do and why we do it. And I think that understanding, getting this video out there, will just help that.
All right.
So thank you so much for the time, Shane.
My pleasure. We'll see you on the next one.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye-bye.